Welcome back, weary travelers. It's time to close out this story arc. So pour yourself a hard one, as this is going to be rough. Episode 3, Season of Mist's Conclusion. We left off with Azazel threatening Morpheus, saying he'll kill Nada if he doesn't give him the key to hell. For the comic purists, you can follow along in issue 26 and 27. As the guests stay overnight, Nula can't sleep because his brother is getting butt banged in the next room. Flurcon is a fairy after all, right?
Yeah.
Although this is implied in the source material, given the woke narrative of the show, it's understandable why the show depicts this scene like this.
Who are these sick people?
Anyway, Nula steps out of the room when Morpheus appears before her. She tells him she couldn't sleep, and if he has come to a decision yet. The reason why the Court of Fairy is here is because they want the key to hell in order to keep it empty, as they pay a tithe every 7 years, sacrificing 9 of their most wisest and beautiful. So as Nula and Morpheus talk, she tells him they have met before, as she recounts the day that Morpheus invited the Court of Fairy to Shakespeare's play. For the comic purist, you can follow along in issue 19. This story is a one-off. It has nothing to do with the Season of Mist storyline. Being that half of this episode is devoted to this issue, there is a bunch of detail from the source material that has been omitted. Lucifer recounting his time before he was a fallen angel, and everything about Loki and Asgard is omitted. Story-wise, this entire segment is filler, but at least it's based off of the source material, right?
Shit, this is a goddamn waste of time.
So Morpheus meets Shakespeare in an open field, and is told to prepare his troupe as his audience will be arriving soon. He tells the glyph Wendell to open the portal, and the Court of Fairy passes through, and then we meet King Oberon and Queen Titania. Now before we continue, let's briefly talk about the King and Queen of the Court of Fairy. From the source material, the Fae are based off of European folklore, and in general, the Fae are very attractive in appearance. For example, Flurcon and Nula, right?
Yeah.
So why did they choose these two people to be King and Queen of Fairy? Granted, they're older, but so what, right? Let's start with Queen Titania. First off, I've never seen the actor before, so she's a no-name, meaning they could have chosen any other actor to play the role. Is she supposed to be attractive looking, or is it just me? I know this is subjective, but her screen presence is neutral at best, tending towards the negative. Now let's move to King Oberon. Obviously a race-swapped character. A half race-swapped character to be official. I wouldn't say Queen Titania is ugly, but I wouldn't say she was good looking or attractive either. King Oberon, I wouldn't call him ugly, but he's ugly to look at. This is hard to explain, and I will grant you that this is more on me. However, again, I don't know who this actor is, meaning they could have chosen anybody else for the role. Why they chose him is because he's a box-checking DEI hire, which is not even debatable. With him being an Oreo, which way do you think he identifies? Black, white, or both? Which do you think got him the role? Obviously, it wasn't talent,
That's fucked up.
so let's look solely on the acting. This guy doesn't look like or act like royalty in the slightest bit. Part of it is the poor costume department. What he's wearing doesn't look very king-like. His mannerisms aren't king-like. Then his general appearance looks completely wrong for a king. Look at him compared to the source material. Which one looks more like a king? Then there's the ages of both of them. Why does the king look younger than the queen? I don't know how old these actors are, but if they're going to pick these two actors, they need to make the king look older. The casting is absolutely horrendous for these two, and being that these are small, pointless roles, it only proves the choices are based off of nepotism, cronyism, and a DEI agenda.
Fucking hell.
So as they're all greeted, they show Nula wide-eyed for Morpheus. Now, let's address Joffrey Baratheon. Basically, a throwaway role playing the Hobgoblin Puck. Now, here's an actor that I've heard of. He isn't known for his acting, but just one of the players on a popular show. Does him being in this show, playing the character he's playing, elevate it? Or at the very least, this episode?
No.
He doesn't look like the source material, and the way the play is represented in the episode is not central to the story. but rather just background noise while Morpheus talks with the king and queen.
I'm not tired!
Then they watch the play, which is Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. The play in the context of this episode is pointless. All the characters, King Oberon, Queen Titania, Puck, and Shakespeare himself, are pointless. What is important is Nuala was there and witnessed what was said by Morpheus that night.
What?
Nuala says that what Morpheus did was save their two realms. How? Because she said so.
Get the fuck out of here.
And right here, the interlude of issue 19 inserted into this story arc culminates to this moment right here.
Perhaps it is time to hold a mirror up to those who would impose hell upon you. And impossible choices.
So that's it?
Yeah.
Pathetic.
As for the play and all the dialogue that was spoken, it's all irrelevant. Neil Gaiman used Shakespeare's play and weaved in the Sandman to tell this standalone story. Being the way the play ends, Neil probably saw the idea of merging the two together, and it was just as simple as that. Inserting this story here, while omitting so much from the actual Season of Mist storyline, is poor and lazy. The showrunners were too cheap to expand the story properly, but instead show this play that pretty much takes place inside a little tent.
Shit.
Shit.
This is shit, but hey.
With it said that season 1 costed $15 million per episode, assuming the budget is the same, if not more, then it begs the question, where is all the money going to? There aren't any actors of note, so no actor is draining the budget. The CGI is piss poor, so the CG budget isn't too costly. The costume department aren't making new costumes, but rather reusing already made ones from the Bridgerton closet. They're using the volume set, so location shooting is down to a minimum. The director's a nobody too. He's probably just happy to have a job. So where's the money going to? I'm not seeing it on screen.
$500,000 of my money! What the fuck is going on there?
It's going right into the pockets of the execs. Neil already sold out. Do you think he cares about what's on screen more than what goes in his pocket for his legal expenses?
Fucking hell.
And the other two showrunners don't care, if they ever did. No attention to detail, no passion for the project. Now, let's get back to the story. All the parties are gathered as Morpheus is ready to render his final decision. And who does he give the key to? He gives it to Remiel, the race-swapped angel who was there only to observe and nothing more, and says absolutely nothing.
What the fuck are you talking about?
He gives it to him. Why, you ask? Specifically, because of what Nuala said to him on the steps. Thus, she made the decision for him, or at the very least, persuaded him in his final choice with her wisdom. So the question you're asking now, is this accurate to the source material? Of course it isn't. So what changed, and why? To answer the why part, well, isn't it obvious? That's right. Nuala's a girl boss.
Fucking hell.
I mean, did you really think that Morpheus, the Lord Shaper, Dream Lord of the Dreaming, one of the Endless, actually has any agency to make any decisions on his own? If the character was race and gender swapped, maybe, but as a white male?
No.
Being that this was so far off the source material, I was completely blindsided at this change. Now let's compare it to the source material. As Morpheus contemplates the decision he must make, Remiel comes and tells him he has a message from the Creator. As Remiel receives the message, he's shocked and pleads to his Creator that the message can't be true. But it is, and the message is that the Creator should have control of Hell. Therefore, he should have the key, and Remiel and Duma will now be the caretakers. Thus, Morpheus hands the key over to Duma, now unburdened by the decision he had to make. Now, you might think that it's convenient or simple that the decision was taken away from Morpheus to make, and I understand that and could agree with that argument in part. However, logically it makes sense that for Hell to be aspired, Hell must exist. Being that Lucifer abdicated his duties as ruler, the creator appoints a new ruler, which is now Remiel and Duma. And them being angels, what do they not have? Free will. No matter how much they do not want to be rulers of hell, and now banished from the Silver City, never to be in the light of the Creator ever again, they simply have no choice in the matter. If they did, they would then be fallen angels just like Lucifer. So when it comes down to it, when the Creator says he wants the key, Morpheus freely gives it to him without any enticements, and he tells all the parties involved who he gave the key to, and because the choices was no longer his to make. There you have it, the source materials version and the show's version. Which one do you prefer? Then Azazel steps in, upset at Morpheus's decision. He tells him that he'll eat not a soul for his decision. Morpheus reminds him that he has granted the hospitality to all his guests, including the ones he knew about and the ones he didn't, and that they are all under his protection. Azazel tells him that he renounces his hospitality, and if he wants Nada, to come and get her. As I stated in my previous episode's review, the CGI is weak and lazy, and we get that on full display here. It takes what? 20 seconds to save Nada? And how? By grabbing her hand and pulling her out?
So that's it?
Yeah. Fucking hell.
In the entire episode, the battle with Azazel was the most anticipated. In the source material, we see Morpheus physically entering Azazel, searching for Nada within Azazel's space. Instead, we get a brief glimpse, not of a duel between Morpheus and Azazel, but just Azazel's interior. There is no drama or action. Instead of being on the edge of your seat, anticipating what's going to happen, the scene is such a yawn from beginning to end.
This is shit, but hey.
Again, where is the money going to? It isn't going to the CGI if this is all we got. It's an absolutely pathetic translation of the source material, devoid of any creativity or drama. Cheaply done just to hit a story beat.
It's a complete crap.
And this scene is a perfect representation of the entire show. Cheaply made, no attention to detail, no passion for the project, not translating the source material to the screen, but using it just as a guide to promote a woke narrative. This show is an absolute abomination, and I have to stress this to the face. This is 100% unacceptable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So, Azazel tricks Morpheus in saving Nada and consumes him. But since they are in the dreaming, Morpheus is all powerful and in control of all things in his realm as he traps Azazel. He then asks all of the other guests if anybody else has any issues with him, but nobody says anything. Then Morpheus asks Lucienne, how's Nada doing? And she says she's resting and recovering. Apparently, there's a hospital wing in the dreaming, even marked with a caduceus on the wall.
Stupid!
And of course, Morpheus is extremely concerned, but he doesn't get to see her, but Lucienne can? She a doctor or even a nurse, and yet she has full access?
What the fuck is this?
Now, with the key given to the creator, everybody takes their leave of the dreaming. Lord Kilderkin states the outcome was a just and fair one. Princess Jemmy of Chaos says she didn't want it anyway, but just didn't want anybody else to have it. Odin and Thor take their leave, with Loki being carried away with his mouth bound. Then the Merkin leaves, asking Morpheus what he will do with Azazel. And Morpheus says nothing, only to allow Azazel to reflect on his actions. Then Clurkon and Nula take their leave, when Clurkon says that Nula is to stay in the dreaming. Morpheus says she does not have to stay if she does not wish it, and then changes her mind that she freely wants to stay. Morpheus states that because of Nula, he spoke to Remiel to end the fairies' ties to hell. And so, another girl boss moment is created out of thin air.
Fucking hell.
Then Morpheus welcomes her as a guest, and tells her if she's going to stay, he does not allow magic to be used and removes the glamour magic. When it's removed, she looks pretty much the same, only with less makeup and now speaking with a more colloquial accent.
So that's it?
Yeah.
Pathetic.
Thus, her glamour magic allowed her to speak with a more scholarly accent? Given how old she is, she never learned to speak scholarly on her own over the past centuries?
Stupid!
Seriously, How stupid and lazy is this show? Also, the Fae use magic to look attractive, right?
Yeah.
So this begs the question, why are the king and queen so unattractive? If that is what these people look like with magic, how hideous would they be without it? Anyway, they leave, and we're still not done yet. We need to resolve Morpheus and Nada. For the comic purist, you can follow along in issue 28. Before we get to Nada, Susano Ono Mikoto hasn't left yet. As we see him trying to sneak out, Morpheus finds him and rats him out to be Loki in disguise. Morpheus tells him he cannot let Susano take Loki's place. Loki reasons with Morpheus, and Morpheus suggests he can create a dream, freeing both Loki and Susano, but Loki would be in his debt, and Loki reluctantly agrees. Then we get this throwaway scene of Morpheus talking to Lucifer on a beach. Morpheus summarizes what happened, and then whines about Nada. It's an absolutely pointless scene, which is taken out of context from the source material. Lucifer doesn't talk to Morpheus. It's just an old man that likes to watch the sunsets, and their conversation completes Lucifer's story arc and what he will be doing now, no longer ruling in hell. Now, back to Nada. Nada sees Morpheus as cool for just a moment, and then it's back to the white male Morpheus, which there is a reason for. In this last act, the girl boss level has been amped up to the absolute heights of annoyance, and the acting is atrocious. So let me try to get through this as quickly as possible. As they discuss, she bitches and moans at what he did to her. However, I have to play this from season 1.
Okay, cool. I will not give up hope. I will never give up.
What did Nana say back then while captive in hell? Even after 10,000 years in hell, she still hasn't lost hope? Really?
Get the fuck out of here.
That's some pathetic writing just to create a girl boss moment. And of course, this isn't source material, but you probably already guessed that. However, taking the show's narrative, she didn't lose hope after 10,000 years, and now he freed her. So why is she so pissed off? Shouldn't she be thankful to him since she never in those 10,000 years fell into despair as she said she never gave up hope?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
As their conversation continues, she strikes Morpheus out of anger. Morpheus tells her that it is unallowed, and she stands defiant. Then Morpheus apologizes again and grovels like a little bitch. So then they move on, and she says she's just gonna live a normal life in the mortal world. But Morpheus isn't done with him pining over her, and he has to grovel more, stating that he loves her. But she straight up tells him she doesn't.
Oh, yeah?
That's right, the person that ordered her guard slaves to search for him in the city, and she in her dreams no longer loves him.
Sure, Jan.
Such obvious forced girl bossing. Just go. Get out of the dreaming, and let this BS finally end.
Get the fuck out of here.
And so ends episode 3, and concludes the Season of Mist story arc. And no, this isn't how the story ends. The interaction between Nada and Morpheus is completely represented with Nada and Kaikul. They can't do this in the show because they not only want to show the black woman striking the white male, but they also want the black woman standing up to the white male. It simply wouldn't be the same if Morpheus was represented as a black guy, right?
Yeah.
And in the source material, the dialogue between them is wonderful. Nada is angry at him, and who wouldn't be? Even her defiance is warranted. And Morpheus understands this and sincerely apologizes for what he's done. And after all the years have passed, he still shows his love for her by offering her to be his queen once again. Still, she declines his offer, but instead offers Morpheus to leave his duties so they can be together. But he declines her offer. Now at an impasse, Morpheus discusses Nada's future, and she chooses to live in the mortal world as she is reborn as an infant in Hong Kong as Morpheus wishes her a good life. So let's discuss. This was a travesty of a translation. Everything has changed in order to stuff girl boss moments. The entire epilogue of Hell is omitted. Lucifer's backstory and epilogue were omitted. Loki's backstory was omitted. The dead coming back to life on Earth and the Dead Point detectives were omitted. But they did add the Midsummer Night's Dream into the story, wokeifying it and making it the turning point of the story, which was another girl boss moment.
Fucking hell.
And then we come to the not a part of the story. Story arc should be done, but it's not. They use this ending of her living in the mortal world to be one of the motivating factors in the brief life story arc. As a Sandman fan, this show sucks. It's really hard to watch these episodes. So let's give this episode a grade. If I didn't read the comic, I'd give it a 4. The resolution is obviously due to a girl boss moment. Saving Nada was simple while being devoid of any drama or tension. Then the final act with girl boss Nada was beyond cringeworthy. Again, the source material is right in their hands, and yet they purposefully choose to ignore story beats and character interactions in favor of the woke narrative. It isn't just obvious, it's shamelessly done.
This is shit, but hey.
Having read the comic, it gets a 1. All the changes are poor and done so purposefully to be woke. Morpheus is such a bitch, and every single female can do no wrong. With these showrunners, execs, writers, directors, and everybody that had a say in this show should all be fired. Given what we got, this show should have never been greenlit unless major commitments were made to adhere much closer to the source material, and at the very least, leave Morpheus unchanged from the comic in regards to his look, his demeanor, his dialogue, and lastly, his agency. And that'll do it for this video. Another show, another slog. It's going to be tough to get through this, but weary as you may be, travelers, we'll soldier on. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you back here in episode 4's review. A new story arc. Let's see how they screw up Delirium. Until then.
Go on! Get the fuck out of here! Don't waste my motherfucking time!